Alright guys, welcome to my workflow, and I especially welcome you to Signal Flow. Today's Signal Flow, we're going to be dealing with something more advanced, okay, for standard studios majorly, okay. You can still set up this at home, but this is what you commonly see in a standard studio. So if you look at my screen here, you see we added two gears to our previous setup, okay. This microphone here is actually a line level microphone, okay, while diaphragm microphone won't be a line level mic, okay. It won't give you a line level, okay. So the signal from your diaphragm microphone, which is your studio mic, is quite low, okay. So you need to boost it up with a phantom power. That's why connecting to the interface you have to switch on your phantom power, okay. So but if you're using a dynamic microphone like this, you will not need a phantom power, right? But if you're using a diaphragm mic, which is a studio microphone, okay, you're going to need a phantom power, okay. I'm just going to be using this for illustration purposes, okay. So because I know majorly you use a studio mic to record, okay. Having said that, let's such assume this is your studio mic, okay. So how this signal move this time around, you're not going straight to the interface, okay. You're going to go straight to this guy, which is your mic preamp. Why you're going here is because the signal coming from your microphone is very low, so you need something to boost it up. So what happens is that signal is sent to the mic pre, and then the phantom power is applied, which is this guy you're seeing here, this blue button. When you're pushing that blue button, extra line is added, okay. So when the signal comes here, it now gets boosted. Alright, now when it gets boosted, there are two ways now. It's either you run it straight to your audio interface, or it goes into the mixing console, okay. And from the mixing console right now, you can now run the signal to your audio interface, okay. This is the first setup before it can get recorded. So you run it to your audio interface and it can get recorded. It goes to your system, comes back, then you can run that signal back from the audio interface into the mixing console, okay. Now listen very carefully. You run that signal back into the mixing console, then we now send that signal to the speakers, which are your studio monitors, alright. Okay, so that is how the signal can go. So you can send that signal like that. Okay, so this is just running it with a mic pre, okay. Let's attach a processor to it, alright. So we want to add compression to the recording, okay. So what will now happen is that the signal moves from your microphone to your mic pre, alright. Then from your mic preamp, we're moving that signal to the compressor this time around, okay. Now you might ask, why not move the signal from the microphone straight to the compressor? Well, the reason why we can't move like that is because when you're using a diaphragm mic, okay, the signal cannot be heard by the compressor, okay, because the signal is always too low, okay. So you need to push it up with a phantom power. So you move that signal down to the compressor, then from the compressor you can now send that signal either straight to the interface, or we send it straight to the mixing console. Then from the mixing console now, alright, so from the mixing console we can now send that signal to the audio interface, okay. Then from the audio interface we'll bring back that signal into the mixing console, right. Then from the mixing console we can now send that signal to the speakers. That's what we can do to that signal. This way you cannot add compression to the recording. Okay, so this is just how the signal moves during recording process. So after you record, when you're playing back, the signal comes from a system, gets converted to analog, moves from your audio interface, gets to the mixing console, and then goes to the speakers. Okay, this is how it moves. You can decide I want to mix with a compressor. Okay, so what we can do, you can then duplicate that compressor and bring it over here. So we can add this compressor for mixing. Okay, so what we want to do is we can say, okay, you can decide, okay, I want to add a compressor into the mixing, so I can mix through the compressor. So this is very complicated, so just follow me gradually. Now let's take out these outputs. What now happens is that, so either we'll move the signal from the audio interface into the compressor. Okay, so now when that signal hits the compressor, now we can now compress that, send that signal back, all right, into the mixing console, all right, as a compressed signal this time around. Okay, back into the mixing console. That from the mixing console we'll now send it to the speakers. All right, so that is how we can move that signal. All right, so this is if you're using it to mix, okay, and maybe you want to hear what it sounds like. But if you want to add the signal of this compression into the mix, so what will now happen is that this signal now gets into the mixing console, and is now, you can now record that signal, okay, into the already recorded vocal. Okay, so now you've seen my setup adding two compressors, using two compressors. Now let's move into the next episode, okay, how to record with one compressor and mix with that same compressor. All right, so we're gonna use that and master the setup.